I didn't want to wait any longer, so I went live. It was too early. It's football time. Rob is in his house, but Rob's having a tough. Rob's having.
If you struggle with toe fungus,
do
crumbling yellow nails, or itchy, smelly feet.
All right. Does anyone struggle with toe fungus and nails and itchy struggly feet? Oh my God, I got it all over here. Not toe fungus. Hope everyone's doing well this morning. Hope everyone's having a good time. It's time to talk some Giants football. A tick, a talk, a tick, talk. You don't stop a rocking to the bang bang boogie. Said up, jump the boogie with the rhythm of the boogie to be. Oh, we're also live broadcasting on millions.coast. Hopefully, anyone's over there watching. We're doing a test run on that. No training camp today. That's great. I mean, I think that's the you know what? I forgot to go live on Millions. How come this isn't going live here? Hold on, we got to make this go live. No training camp today, so that's even better because the fact that that'll give us more to talk about today. That'll give us more to reach out to. That'll give us more information. We got Authentic in the house also saying, what's up, Tim? What's going on? We got Mike Lee says in the kneel injury. We're going to talk about the kneel injury in a minute. We got Chris saying, Tim, how's everyone doing? Real Giants football. And let's go Giants. I got the new Giant hat. I'm very excited about the new Giant hat. I got two of them at training camp. I got the black and the blue because I'm just like a woman. Might need to have two of everything. We got what's up, Tim? We got Evan also coming in strong. Evan Neal. You know what? It's a concussion. He's in the concussion protocol. It's better. We got Joe Rev also dropping in. What's up, Joe? It's better to have him be in concussion protocol now than have him be in the last game of the training camp going in to the Dallas game. I always said before, you want to get your injuries out of the way. Get your injuries out of the way. Get them out of the way early. Get them out of the way often. So when camp breaks, you could then turn around and say, we're healthy. We're a healthy team. We had our first preseason game also the other day with the Jets and the Browns. That was not a lot of fun to watch. I've said it before. I find it interesting that teams don't play more of their starters earlier now in the preseason because we've seen evidence of teams that do not play their starters or even their second teams all preseason long, and then they come out to a slow start. I'm hoping the Giants take a page out of the old Bill Parcells playbook. Well, Parcells, you go back to 83, you go back to 84, man. He would run his starters out there through the game one through the first, through the first quarter. Game two, you got to remember back then it was 4 preseason games. Sometimes there was 5. Going back even further, there was 5 preseason games. Imagine that 5. We get 3 now. We get excited. But you have to see it. We got a lot of good stuff going on at camp. We got a lot of fun stuff going on. We got Rob. Let's see if we can add Rob back onto the stream. Rob evidently had a dilemma at one point, and he doesn't have his microphone on, so he still doesn't have his microphone on.
The dilemma was a 90-pound Rottweiler unloading his bladder on my expensive carpet.
You know what to say to that, Rob? 1, 2, 3,
No monkey with me.
Come on, everyone. It's Giant football time. We got to get this going up. Hey, Rob, we got to go in strong. You know what? We got training. No camp today, Rob. I was talking the fact there's no camp today. No camp today. Nothing going on. We got the Lions. We got the Lions game coming up in like a week. We also have the Lions 2 days of Lion joint practices. And I'd like to see also in the chat, what are some of the storylines in camp right now people are enjoying? And Rob, what is your big, I have Daniel Jones on the cover here on the thumbnail.
Daniel Jones on the cover. Wow. I mean, hey, listen, thank God he's on some cover because he wasn't on the Sunday Night Football advertisement.
That's what she said.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Hey,
Daniel. I had to. Sorry, Daniel.
I have bluer skies ahead for Daniel Jones or question mark. So I'm not saying no, I'm just a question mark. And I laugh, Rob, because and this is not a Daniel Jones bash session. We're not going to bash Daniel Jones because he's looked good in camp. But I'm going to say this again. Everyone looks good against the all shorts team. There is a difference between throwing the football with a 6. Rob like that. Rob, I nearly killed Rob. There's a difference between throwing the ball with 6 to 7 seconds than there is throwing the ball in 2 to 3 seconds.
The all shorts team. That's funny.
Well, it used to be the all cones team because you just played against the cones. But we're out of that. But there's a difference, Rob. You know this.
Of course.
That if you have 7 seconds to throw the ball compared to 3 seconds, yes, your ball placement is probably going to be better. Now, I was at the padded practice, Rob.
Mm-hmm.
Are we bothering you?
No. I was fixing my fan that I have blowing in a specific. I have it blowing right in between my legs.
What are you flicking off your penis? I don't want to hear that. That's not this type of show. We'll do the medical show later. I was at the pad of practice. Rob's just having a good day today. I don't know what you're doing.
I did. I'll tell you. I got more coming. We got an hour. What do we got? An hour and a half. Stay tuned. There'll be more.
Daniel Jones to me at the pad of practice was 6 for 11 with at least 3 sacks.
And this was Sunday when you went last Sunday.
The pad of practice, was it Sunday? I don't know. I went Sunday and I went.
Pad of practice was Sunday, right?
No, it was Thursday. I believe it was Thursday. I've been out there so many times. I have no freaking clue when it was.
Okay.
The defense ruled. The defense was much better on the pad of practice because you finally get to hit someone. You finally get to rush. You finally get to have a little bit of contact on the wide receiver. So the offense looked a little bit different than it did earlier in camp. Not tremendously different, but I do say the defense won that battle.
I would say Matt Pert was making O'Shane Zimenez look like Lawrence Taylor.
Well, first of all, Matt from Connecticut should just go away.
Listen here, Matty. And you know what's funny? Off topic. It's late at night. I'm getting ready to go to sleep last night. I'm browsing YouTube, and I see a Darian Beavers interview, and I see a Matt Pert interview, and I'm thinking to myself, and nothing. This is mainly for Matt. I was like, wow, they couldn't find any other linemen to interview, so they interviewed Matt Pert.
I'm not gonna. This is the new, kinder, gentler Tim, because we're also streaming on millions.com, our co. So also I have to. Okay.
Nice hat, by the way.
Thank you. I was saying I have 2 of them.
I'm pretty jealous. Jealous. Is that leather in the front? That's not leather right here, is it?
Do you want it to be leather? Then it's leather. Because I also have the blue version of the hat.
That's nice, dude.
No, man, they had some nice $80 though for 2 hats.
$80 for 2?
$80 for 2 hats. Luckily, my crack sales have gone up, so I'm doing better. I can spend those $80.
That's a plus.
Yeah, that was. And my wife is the one that bought it for me, so that's what even made it better. But I think that people get so excited, Rob, about the all shorts team, about just, and seeing what you see, and everyone looks good. And I said this before, everyone should look good in shorts and a t-shirt, and shorts and a helmet. Because if you don't, then I have some issues.
24 miles an hour.
Yeah, so the question is this.
Morning, Chris.
We're going to get to everyone in a second. How can you?
And authentic good morning too, sir.
Shut up. This is my show.
Sorry.
Listen,
people. They were addressing me.
Don't talk to people. You're not allowed to talk to anybody. This is my show. This is the money shot right here. Okay, right here. Okay.
This is how I get the jobs right here.
This how we
cheaper by the dozen. Cheaper by the dozen.
I was doing a Shaft.
Oh, never mind.
The outtakes of the second Shaft movie with Samuel L. Jackson. Let me say hi to everyone in the chat real quick. Evan says, I think Dable will play this. Here's just a question. I was going back to the preseason game. I lost my mind for a minute. Preseason game, Rob. We were talking earlier how Parcells used to play everyone. That first game would play his entire starters in that first quarter. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, you don't see that at all. Nowadays, you're lucky if they get a series. And I was talking about how so many teams came out sloppy the last couple of years because of the fact that some of these teams didn't even play their first or second teamers the entire preseason, and they looked like they were using the first couple of weeks.
First couple of weeks as preseason games.
Do you think that Dable may buck the trend and play his starters a little bit longer? I know everyone worries about injury, but you know what? The problem is if you worry about injuries all the time, that's when injuries happen.
I mean, I'll be honest. I don't think he will, simply from the simple fact that, he didn't even play his starters, week 17 last year, to go out there and.
There was no reason to. There was nothing.
No, but I mean, give yourself a little bit of I set the tone, going into the playoffs. Tom Coughlin did it. There was no reason for Tom Coughlin to play the starters in 2007 against the Patriots.
Tom Coughlin's team in 2007 was kind of in the doldrums those weeks leading up to that game. He did it as a statement to his team saying, hey, listen, we made the playoffs, but we barely made the playoffs. And we're playing like shit. Me personally, I think it would be good to play because I think with the schedule that we've got, which is I think you cannot afford
to be using games against Dallas, the 49ers to get in sync. Like, you need to be ready to go. And so maybe that changes it. I don't know. Maybe that changes it, but I don't know.
Well, my thing is this, to your point, you kick off the season versus Dallas. And to your point, the whole season, even though it's 17 games in 18 weeks, rides on week 1.
It does. It does. Listen, you can listen.
Wait, everyone that does not know, Rob is predicting if we lose week 1, we're going 0-17.
That's not what I said.
No, it's what I said.
I said that right. Look, I said this, and I'll reiterate it. We had a light schedule last year. We overachieved last year with the roster that we have and a light schedule last year. And you're building off of last year. And you went 1-5 in this division. You cannot afford to start.
Isn't it 1 or 2-5-1 or what it was? I forget what it was.
1-5-1, I think. Yeah. You cannot. And I'm not
7 games. So.
Yeah. So, well, I think it was 1-4-1, 1-5-1 if you count the playoffs,
right.
The playoff game.
Right.
So I'm going to go 1-5-1 because I'm counting the playoff game.
I was counting that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was counting.
You can't do what you did this offseason, right? Sign Daniel, bring back Saquon, redo it, extend, AT, re-sign, Dexter Lawrence, bring in Waller, bring in Hyatt, do all of these things and go 0-1 and start your new season 0-1 in the division. So like you're building to compete in this division. And to me, that is a statement game week 1 versus the Dallas Cowboys, where you need to go out there and you need to win. And if they go out there and they don't win at that point, national media is going to be saying, oh, here we go. They can't win in the division, blah, 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 blah. And to me, you do not want to start 0-1. And then on the horizon, you've got San Fran, Seattle, Miami, Buffalo. Cannot.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Which national media will write blah 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 blah? Because that's a lot.
The Sicilians.
That's a lot to put in.
The Italians. The Italians.
I always think of the Peter Griffin episode of Family Guy where he thinks he can speak Italian because he's got a mustache. Bippity boppity boop.
Bippity boppity boop.
All right, let's run to some of these people in the chat real quick because I also want to talk about Jalen Hyatt. Mr. Authentic now says, "What's up, Rob?" Now you may answer.
What up, Authentic?
Authentic says Jones is about to put it together this year. I hope Jones is about to put it together this year. I really do. But I can't judge anything. I must be the only one, Rob, in the history of sports that can't judge a quarterback on wearing shorts and pads.
The only guy in the history of DJ-dom.
I watched Phil Simms from his rookie season. I watched Kerry Collins when he came in. I watched the likes of Jeff Rutledge, of Kent Graham, of Dave Brown, of and Eli Manning, and Kurt Warner. I watched all these guys.
Bad years.
Somehow, and I've been to training camps. I've been on how many training camps, but I'm the only one that can't judge a guy in pads and shorts. Because I'm sorry, I can't see, and I've said it before. There's a difference between a 7. Rob, count the 7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Now count the 3.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, that's the difference. What you're going to see on Sundays. You get 7 seconds in practice. You get 3 seconds in the game. So I will judge his ball placement. I will judge his accuracy. I will judge all these things after I see what he does versus the Panthers. But I'm not going to start judging people. It's like I love Jalen Hyatt. I've loved Jalen Hyatt from jump. I wanted to.
You don't think he's going to play against the Lions?
I don't think he's going to play as starters. That's why I was asking the question. I don't think he's going to play. I think Jalen Hyatt will play. I don't think
I do.
But I love Jalen Hyatt.
I think I want them to play.
I can't gauge what Jalen Hyatt is
because here
on the field.
But here's the thing: we played the Jets the last preseason game, right?
Yep.
And we played them this year. I don't think he's going to play starters against the Jets.
Well, we play the Jets later in the season, so I don't think. Don't forget to hit the like when you jump in the chat. I don't think he's going to play. I don't think that matters. We play the Jets later in the season.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that. But let's run through these real quick, Rob, because I want to talk about Jalen Hyatt, man. Mike Lee says, you are such a DJ hater. Mr. Authentic also came out. Did they count sacks and had time limits in practices yesterday? I don't know. I wasn't at practice yesterday. I was not in practice yesterday because I was at Dave and Buster's. Let's see, Mike.
You were paying $80 for 2 hats.
I was paying $80 for 2 hats. I try to go to Dave and Buster's and win money to pay for my hats, but evidently all you get is tickets and coupons. Mike Lee says, I like to practice ballet. That's what I also refer to these practices as. Jeff Newman, Big House, said, Big Jeff in his house. We got Chris saying, good morning, Tim. Good morning, Rob. We got Jose G, we haven't seen in a while. Yeah, we got Jose G. Jose G saying, what's up, Rob?
What's up, Jose?
Now you may answer. Jersey Beaner says, Tim, my man.
Thank you, Daddy.
Everything's doing good. Alex Sports is also in the house. Evan comes in and says, week 1 is important, but not do or did.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that is either, but yes, it's important. Jersey says, Tim, did you run into Ron Effect or any of the YouTubers at training camp? No, I wasn't looking for any YouTuber. I go incognito when I go to camp because I just want to hang out. Plus, I go with the family a lot of times. So I just kind of want to hang out. I sit in the back. So it's just like, it's fun. It's fun to do a little family affair when you go to this camp. So I got you. It's a good atmosphere. I'll be hanging out with people on the 18th of August, the Carolina game. So we'll be taking 3 subscribers again to the Carolina game. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to go to the coaches club, hang out a lot. Mike Lee says, Tim said Rob is predicting 0-17. I believe him. See, he believes me.
That's right, Mike.
That's right. Authentic says the week 1 Cowboys game is one of the most important games of the year.
Agreed. Authentic gets what I'm putting down.
I'm going to agree to disagree. Okay, I'm going to agree to disagree. Okay, when the Giants won in 2007, how many games didn't they lose? Like the first 3 games of the season by like 9,470 points. So by this logic, the Giants should have just thrown in the towel in 2007 and called it a day.
Yeah, see, but what you're doing is you're saying that this Giants team is the same Giants team as 07.
No, what I'm saying is 1 loss does not a season make. If you lose 1 game and you don't pull yourself back, you are weak mentally. That's what I'm saying. A team that is a winner, a team that knows how to win, a team that understands one. And I think Dable gets this best. Because Dable even said during the winning streak, the game is over. We're going to the next opponent. You play 1 game at a time. You play the game that's in front of you. And then you worry. And then you go to the next week. Dable said that numerous times, even during that streak. He's like, it's 1 game. And I think that's the mentality this team is going to go in with. Yes, it's a divisional game. But to your point, we went 1-4-1 in the division. And we still made the play.
I'll just say this. We lose week 1, this fan base is going to lose it.
I'll be here to control everything we lose week 1. Don't you worry. We got the Admiral Mutombo.
In 07 we started 6-2.
Yeah, but we lost the first 2 games of the season by like 40 points, and everyone was calling for Spags to be fired because he sucked. He didn't. The defense was too complicated. I love it because I remember 2007 clearly. People are like, the defense is too complicated. We have to go back to the attacking style defense. Tom Coughlin stayed the course, understood what needed to be done, understand that it is a marathon, not a sprint. I'm trying to find some more sports cliches.
I think the biggest angle for me is like with this, like going forward, you're not going to be able to make the playoffs with just 1 division win, You never know. And you can't bank that you're going to beat the Commanders, every year.
We're going to talk about the Commanders and Sam Howell and all that in a minute. But I want to get to these people in checks. I don't want to get behind today. Admiral Watumble says, first time at the Paintball Ranch. Wish me luck. I thought it was the Bunny Ranch, but I assume he's not in Vegas. Admiral, also, how did your job interview go? You had a job interview a couple weeks back. Davey says, hey, Tim, missed your live stream. How are you? I'm doing good. I'm doing well. Rob was late as usual. Authentic says, I judge a quarterback from playing in the pads just last season. He made a jump last season. He has not come into camp with that much juice in 4 seasons. Well, the problem is, what did they say, Rob? It's the squeeze of the juice, or the juice in the squeeze, or whatever.
Is the juice worth the squeeze?
There we go. That's what we're going to find out because it's year
5 for Daniel Jones.
I have never seen a quarterback, except outside of like the 70s and the 80s, and maybe even going into some of the 90s, that you were still waiting in year 5. You go back to the 80s, there were a lot of quarterbacks that were early first rounders that didn't see the field for like 3 years, because that's what they did back then. They didn't.
Aaron Rodgers.
Well, that's early 2000s, but I'm talking about
Sorry.
Well, you also had Brett Favre there, so that's a little different story.
Fuck Brett Favre. I'm just kidding.
That's what she said.
Guilty says, hope all is well, fellas. Everything is good. Guilty all says, don't forget to smash the like button, please. They did count sacks. Did they not? On the padded practice? No, they didn't really count sacks. It was kind of more of a subjective thing. A lot of fans are done. They probably did it internally. I don't know. I wasn't. They didn't invite me to count sacks. I wish.
How dare you? How dare them not
I
invite you?
I know.
Nerve of these fucking people.
Did they not know I'm awesome? Did they not know we're also streaming on?
If they don't know, they're going to find out.
You know what I have to say about millions.co? What does Giant Straight Talk, the podcast, Joe Montana have in common? We're both on millions.co. Just so everybody knows.
Just saying.
Authentic says, I will be at the Carolina game as well. Well, I will be in the red lot F7. I'm there all the time, so hopefully we'll get to see everybody there. And we're going to take our friends to the Coaches Club. That'll be a lot of fun. Hurst Real says, Tim, what's going on? Rob, what's going on? Good. Davey says, I got to see Phil Simms, Dave Brown, Kent Graham, Kenner Collins, Kurt Warner, and you forgot Danny Cannell, Eli Manning as well. There we go. Davey also says, and Danny Cannell. Hurst Real says, Beasley Reese used to visit my summer camp when I was a kid. That is the safety for the New York Giants going back to the early 80s. Also went over to the Eagles. Let's see, 0-7, we started off 6-2, but we also lost the first two games of the season, and we lost them by a very large margin. Mike Lee said the Dallas game is the most important game for the Giants in week 1. It is. No, he's being facetious. Sometimes I got to help Rob out. Chris, it's funny. I'm going to tell a quick story. My wife's father's visiting for a couple days, and he was telling us a joke, and my wife being being a little naive sometimes, doesn't get certain dirty jokes. So basically the joke was the fact that this guy who had no arms and legs was trying to court this woman, and she gave him three parameters of courting her, and the last one was being good in bed. And of course, he has no arm and legs. And she said to him, well, how can you be good in bed? And he looked at her and said, well, I rang the doorbell, didn't I? And my wife sat there, and I sat there and I looked at her for a second. And I go to my wife, I look at her, I go, baby, he rang the door with his penis. So she's like, oh. I was like, hey-oh. Let's see here. Game 1 has all kinds of implications. It sets the tone for the season, tells if we match up with Dallas. No, it doesn't. It's the first game of the season.
But it's a division game.
It's the first game of the season.
It's a division game.
Here's the problem we're having here. I am supposed to be the Duke of negativity. I am the admiral of all things bad in Giants land. And I'm sitting there saying, if we lose game 1, we lost game 1. You have 16 other games. And yes, you don't want to go 0-1 to start off the division, but then you have 5 other division games.
And 2 of them are against the Eagles.
We're going to kick their asses.
Yeah, all right.
We're going to kick
them. Yeah, okay.
Make sure you hit the like when you come into the chat. Please do that. We're going to kick the Eagles' asses. I'm tired of the Eagles. Evan says we can beat Dallas. I think we can beat Dallas.
I think so too.
I think we can beat Dallas. I think we can
beat Dallas.
That's right. I think we could beat. We're gonna get into Dallas. We got Davey saying, this chat, the Commanders are Redskins young men. Young man. Well, Davey's just gone up in my coolness book. Let's see here. Evan says if DJ is on point week 1, we win. I agree. If Saquon Barkley is on point week 1, we're going to talk about week 1. But first, we got to talk about the Lions, and we want to talk about Jalen Hyatt. I'm just so behind on the chat right now. Tim, reading my comments, mad dyslexic. Yeah, I am dyslexic actually, and I also have what they refer to as number transference. I was up watching movies late last night.
I can tell.
That affects the things. I watched that Dungeons and Dragons movie.
I'm not into that. I kind of want to see the Meg too, to be honest.
I kind of want to see that too, but the Dungeons and Dragons movie, I'm not into Dungeons and Dragons. I never played the game or anything. But it was actually, I mean, you could have called it, People in Middle Earth. and that would have been the same thing because I had no clue who any. Maybe they're in the game. I don't know, but it was actually good special effects. Hirsch for real says, "What's the difference between in-laws and outlaws? Outlaws are wanted." Hey-o. Hey-o. I shouldn't say anything because we're going to the range today. So I'm taking him to the range. We got the champion of the world coming and saying, "Whoa!" As always, Jose G says Jones has more lives than a cat. Cat has 9 lives, right?
Yes.
You know what's funny? It's not really funny. I saw a cat the other day that got run over. So does that mean he doesn't have 9 lives, or did he use them all up?
Yeah, I don't know. He probably ran out.
He probably ran out there. Mike Lee says Mrs. Online Black Blue is too pure to bet those types of jokes. To get those types of jokes. We got Danny coming in and said division games. Remember last year, just 1 win in division. Yeah, but we still made the playoffs. Everyone, you know what? Everyone just. I go back to Animal House. Everyone, relax. Have a beer. It don't cost nothing.
Yeah, but Tim,
lose it. No, you're not going to convince me.
What is the percentage? Let me ask you this. What is the percentage of teams that start 0-3, okay, potentially, or 1-2 in the season that don't make the playoffs? What's the percentage?
I have no idea.
It's a high percentage.
But what's the percentage?
I don't know. I think it's.
You cannot start spitting facts, and then
I think it's a high percentage. I don't know the exact amount, but I know it's a high percentage.
It's a high percentage. Where's Zach?
It is.
Where's Zach Tech? Where's the Googler? Where's the Googler in all this?
I tell you what. I bet you Authentic knows.
Where's the Googler?
Over 65%, says Danny.
Yeah, but we haven't even won. We haven't even played game 1 yet.
I know, but that's why I'm saying that game 1 is important.
We're such a mamby-pamby little fan base.
That's why I'm saying game 1 is important.
It's not game 1. Every game in the NFL, every game, and maybe not NBA and baseball, but every game in the NFL is important. But
I'm not saying that every game is not important.
I am not going to gauge my entire season in fandom against the Giants if we lose
playoffs
31.
Playoffs. I just hope we can win a game.
And he was right about that game, though. Great mastermind Shane said in his presser last year that we need to win our division games. You always need to win division games. But I'm just saying this. Yes, you can. I'm not going to judge. I can't believe we're still talking about this. I am not going to judge.
We're going to keep talking about it, Tim. Damn it.
The entire 17-week season, 18-week with the bye on week 1. I'm sorry. Maybe it's because of the fact that I have tons of testosterone, and I understand the fact that you play them 1 week at a time. When I put on the pads, you always were told this. You play what you can in front of you. Do what you can. You play 1 week at a time. You play one play at a time. You play one moment at a time. You play one down at a time. You don't sit there and go, we lost week 1. I'm going to go cry in the corner.
Listen, I'm not saying that you lose week 1 and...
I don't want to hear him anymore. Let's just sing. Do you look good? Or can you cook good? Or is your brain like wood? Do you have sex? Or do you make love? Sorry. You agreed to do this.
I listen. I know I did. You know, it is what it is. You know,
you should just sit there and shut up because you agreed to.
I knew what I was in for. You know,
Mike Lee says, saw a report that Dak won't play in the preseason.
He should. He's throwing fucking interceptions left and right. Listen. I was telling a buddy of mine. You know who Cole is from like when we do like the round tables for BGN and shit like that. He's the Cowboys fan,
right?
And I was in a space the other day, and there was this Commanders fan that was asking this Eagles fan like all of these like intense questions and everything like that, and he goes, why don't you ever ask me these intense questions about the Cowboys? And so I turned around and said, Cole, we can only talk about Dak throwing interceptions in training camp so much. I mean, it's like every day. It gets old.
It gets old.
I mean, yo, if you really want to think about it, Dak Prescott got Malik Hooker paid because he's showing off in camp, picking off Dak. He got Malik Hooker his contract, for crying out loud.
Just so you can say it to him personally, you said, fuck Brett Favre. Go ahead, so you can tell him.
Yeah, fuck Brett Favre.
There you go.
or Favre or Favor, Brett Favor.
Au revoir. I just found one of his rookie cards from Atlanta. Let's see. Authentic said, Tim, you predicted like 6 wins last year. Yeah, that's true. The Dallas game is important. 0-1 start greatly diminishes your percentage to make the playoffs. I'm not buying it. I'm sorry, guys. You could tell. I have been watching football forever. You could tell. I have seen a lot of teams lose the first game of the season and win Super Bowls.
Yeah, but it doesn't happen often.
The Giants did it.
That's just as bad as saying Eli took off in year 4, so Daniel Jones is going to do it. It's the same thing.
But that's what's going to happen.
It better. But that's the same thing.
But the worst thing is Daniel Jones. Eli Manning didn't take off in year 4. He took off in the playoffs. Eli Manning plateaued after year.
Yeah, but that was his 4 when we won the Super Bowl.
I know, but he didn't take off statistically. He had a marvelous. I mean, a one for the ages playoff run.
Yeah, to be honest, like Eli's like performance like during the year wasn't very good. Like
terrible.
He like
to the Minnesota game.
He threw like, what was that, like 5 interceptions?
Yeah, like in the first 38 seconds. And it was almost the first game of the season, so we had no percentages of making the playoffs.
And I think he threw like, wasn't it like 4 pick sixes?
Something like that. I don't know if it was that bad, but it was bad. It was like 2 or 3, I think. Yeah. And they threw them one after another. Danny's just laughing. Danny's just having a good time. Davey says, Tim, you mean you never played Dungeons and Dragons when you were a kid? That is from our generation. I never played it. I played they used to have a video game called Dungeons and Dragons. I assume that's the same thing.
I played Yu-Gi-Oh.
You play Hubba Hubba?
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh. Okay.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Belford coming in the house saying, good morning, fellas. Danny says over 65%. That was a question about reference plays. Big Blue Forever says, play the Walla Walla Waller. Oh, you want Walla? We have the new Waller sound effect. We're going to talk about Mr. Waller in a minute, too.
Jones to Walla, Walla, Walla. First down.
Is that you?
Yes, that's me. Doing the venerable Bob Shepard. I always do Bob Shepard. I used to do it all the time.
Sims to Bavaro. First down.
I grew up on Bob Shepard. I literally grew up.
Can you do Bob Papa?
No, I can't do Bob Papa because he doesn't like me.
For real? He don't like you?
We were at one of the events, and
it's because you lie about who you wanted to ask a question.
No, it was before I lied about that. But I think he has me confused with somebody else.
Oh, yeah, because he was like, I know who you are.
I've never talked to Bob Papa. I've never talked to him. I never conversed with him on Twitter. And I'm like, oh my God, Bob Papa doesn't. And then we're at the rookie dinner thing. And Bob Papa's in the hallway. And we're inside the Giant facility, and I'm waving at Bob Papa. Well, evidently he remembered me because he didn't look too happy, and he kind of waved, not like, hey, he kind of waved me off. I'm like, dude, I'm not who you think I am. I don't even follow you. I don't even know how to respond to people on Twitter half the time.
That's some bullshit.
Oh no, I don't. I get confused because of the fact that when you and I've talked about this before, when you reply to somebody and they reply back to you, you have that reply section. And a lot of times I have all these like messages, but I don't know what the original message is from. How do you find out what the original message is? Because sometimes it'll say like online Big Blue 1 at, and then like 4 other people. And I don't know what the original message is. And then I click like on that comment and it just takes me to the comment.
You click it.
Yeah, but it just takes me to the comment.
But then you could scroll down.
Oh, that's
so. All right, so here, let me see.
Like if you go to your reply section, we're gonna hold on there, but we're having Twitter 101 right now. Like if I go here to Twitter, okay, hold on, let me go to Twitter. You go to profile.
So here. So here's a reply from somebody on my tweet.
Okay.
So that would be you, right?
Right.
So when you click on it, it shows that, and then you scroll.
Okay.
And then it shows you the tweet. You scroll down so you could see the original tweet. And then you could, when you scroll, you could see everybody's responses. Now, sometimes on a tweet, on a response, somebody might respond to him.
Right.
So then you might see like view more replies. So you click on it and it'll show you all of the replies to that tweet.
Okay. So wait a minute. So if somebody, Everyone just shut up in the chat a minute because I'm learning Twitter. So, like I said, if it's a comment, I don't know. Like, I don't even know the comment. Like, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll get like 30 messages, like bing, 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 bing. But I don't know what the original comment is. So it's
like the original comment that you commented on.
No, like let's say you write a Twitter. Let's say you write a tweet and you at me and you at Authentic, let's say, and Big Dash and everyone else. And then people reply to that, right?
Yeah.
If I can't, a lot of times I can't find like the original comments. I only see the replies. It'll be replied to R0B, me, Authentic, whoever else. And I'll just say like, Tim sucks. Okay, well, what do I suck?
That's what she said.
And that's what I'm trying to figure out. Because
that's what I'm saying. If you go
original message.
So like, that's what I'm saying. Like if you go back, it like if there's a reply in a group that you're on, a group message, then when you click on it, it'll load it. So let me see if I can find one that's got like a bunch of shit on there.
We have Big Don also dropping in. We're going to allow gifts. Yeah, of course we're going to allow gifts. Big Don's dropping in 5 online Big Blue membership. We've got Big Don in his house. One of the greatest people in reference to the channel, helping us out, always being there when we need him.
All right. So for instance, this one here.
Okay.
Somehow somebody tagged me.
Yes, that's what. Now, how do I find out what that message is?
So when you click on this, all right. So if I click on that,
it goes to there. Okay,
and then you just scroll all the way down, and this is the original tweet.
I knew that. I knew to do that.
You're a fucking asshole, bro.
I did not know to do that. I did not know to do that.
Wait, you did or you didn't?
I didn't know to scroll up.
Yeah, bro. When it loads, you scroll down and you can see the original fucking tweet.
Because normally what I do is I just respond to the tweet. I didn't even know that. Okay, it's okay.
And this is the guy that says that week 1's not important, fellas.
That's true, though. It's true. Let's see. David says the Commanders, Redskin fans are endangered species. That's true. You are. You have only a 9% chance to make the playoffs if you go 0-2. Okay. Well, Giants went 0-2 in 2007 and won the Super Bowl. Let's see here. Chris says I predicted 6 wins last year. Tim, and we really were at 6-win caliber team. We got lucky. The ball bounced a few times, but that's the problem. You're going to the ball's going to bounce sometimes. That's the thing, and that's the good thing about football. The ball is shaped for that reason. That is going to bounce differently. Joe Rev says Tim can't believe you compared Jones to Eli. I didn't compare Jones to Eli. Actually, that was Rob.
No, it was Tim. He did it.
That was Rob. I did not compare Jones to Eli.
He did it.
I said Eli.
I mean,
plateaued in year 4.
That guy right there.
Yeah, year 4 at plateau, but he had a stellar playoff run, which propelled him for the rest of his career. I'm honest about Eli. I love Eli, and I'm honest about his shit. If Papa doesn't like Tim, I don't like Joe Papa. Joe Papa. I don't know if, like I said, Papa doesn't like me because he thinks I'm somebody else. So I think that's a little bit there. We got Don. What with Don? Because it says, you Heatherns got the memberships are welcome. You heathens. The heathens that got are welcome. Well, thank you, Big Don. Big Don's always dropping memberships. And we got a super sticker from the Don. I love super stickers. Let's see. I think we caught up on everything right now. Let's talk. What does this say? Using outliers as a formula is crazy talk. The Giants were 0-2 and beat the undefeated Patriots in the Super Bowl. Yeah, they did. 100%. I want to talk about Jalen Hyatt for a second. I just skip over things because you know what? You're all wrong. I'm right. It doesn't matter if we don't win week 1. Sorry. You are not going to get me in. You are not going to get me in the. I am not going to be one of these Giant fans if the Giants lose. I'm not going to be one of these Giant fans if the Giants lose 35-31. They're going to be crying in their beer. I'm going to say exactly what Brian Dable is going to say. It's one game. We have X in front of us next week. That's what I'm going to be.
We're on to Cincinnati.
Thank you. Jalen Hyatt, the man, the myth, the legend, then the route runner now.
Yeah,
Jalen Hyatt, the route runner. Before he couldn't run routes. He didn't have the speed. I have so many things that I heard Giant fans say about Jalen Hyatt.
The twitchiness of Jalen Hyatt.
The twitchiness of Jalen Hyatt. I like it.
I love Eli, dude. Eli Rags. I love that guy, bro. The twitchiness.
I love it also because of the fact that you have to sit. Everyone, you know what some people are still trying to find things wrong with Jalen Hyatt that they're hating on number 84.
Tim.
That's me.
The last time a rookie wide receiver wearing number 84 went against the Cowboys, he had 3 catches, 163 yards, and 3 touchdowns, right?
I did not know that. Don't tell me it's like Joe Giaravicius or something.
Well, it's Randy Moss.
Oh, Randy Moss. So by this logic, if Randy Moss wore 84 and he had those numbers and the Giants lose the first game of the season, we're all in trouble.
I'm just saying. I'm going to put a prediction out there for y'all. I'm going to give you a Coors Light.
Next point. Don't smoke
crack. I'm going to give you a cold Coors Light hot take.
Ooh.
Jalen Hyatt, week 1. 5 catches, 190 yards, 2 touchdowns.
We got LeVar saying that we only have 30 likes or 28 likes. So 73 folks in the room.
We have 30.
Get the likes up. Get the likes up, guys. Come on. Does Jalen Hyatt, this is the big question, and this is the question, and I think Big Don just gifted some more memberships to Online Big Blue OG. You get access to all types of fun stuff. You get early videos. You
like that, Authentic?
You get first choice. You get first dibs at coming on to the coaches club and going on the field with me. We'll do that during the season. Does Jalen Hyatt, though, Rob, start week 1?
No.
Okay.
I don't think he does. I'm going to say the starting wide receivers are going to be Hodgins, Slayton, and Cole Beasley.
Now the question, Cole Beasley. The question is this. You predicted the Giants carrying 8 wide receivers.
I thought that they would.
Do you still think that the Giants go carry 8 wide receivers?
I still think it's a possibility. I think more realistically, it's like 7.
I think 7.
But I personally still think it's a possibility.
Okay. And Evan says it best. It's on to Arizona if we lose. We have Mr. Cortez says the defense looking like cooked food every day. I'm not worried. You know what the thing is this? You can't get too high. You can't get too low. If we're in week 14 and we're not looking good and we only got 6 wins, then I'm gonna panic. I went through 3-12-1. Okay. I sat in the stands for 3-12-1. I watched Jeff Rutledge play. I watched Phil Simms break his hand on the helmet of an eagle and blood gushing out of his thumb because a bone was protruding through his hand. I watched the great Scott Bruner play that season. There's nothing you can do.
Now there was one interception in training camp.
There was?
Yeah, Justin Pinnock had an interception.
Oh, that's right. The one-handed catch. The OBJ interception of the preseason or training camp. Let's see here. Chris says this: win, lose, or draw. I agree with Tim. We are on to Arizona. Mike Lee says, why do people hate Zeke? Of course, Zeke Mowat was the one I always think of when you think of 84. He was the tight end before Mark Bavaro. He was actually having an all-pro season. He tore up his knee. Then the Giants drafted Mark Bavaro next year, and he became a question mark, and he became known for harassing a female reporter in New England than winning a Super Bowl with the Giants. Christy says, no one's saying we're going to be screwed losing the game, but to say it has no implications on the rest of the season just isn't right. It's not a measuring stick. It's week 1. It's week 1. It's not a barometer of anything. It's week 1. Mr. Ross, thanks. Randy Moss is the last rookie to wear 84 facing the Cowboys. That can't be true. That is true. I read that on Twitter. I tried to respond to the tweet, but I couldn't find it. Let's see here.
Fuck him, you son of a bitch.
Jake says, your opinion on preseason. I believe preseason is a really important indication of our regular season. If the 2s and 3s lose their teams, 2s and 3s, then our 2s get us better in practices. Here's the thing about preseason. I think preseason should be used, Rob, and we talked about this in the beginning, as a way to get your starters some reps. Like I said, I want to go back to old school. I want to see your guys. I know people want to talk about injuries. People still bring up the Seahorn injury in preseason, but it's this way. I think you got to get your guys live game reps. I'm not saying have them play the whole game, but I'd like to see. I know it's not going to happen, but I would play the starters, the entire first quarter against the Lions, and I would go 2 quarters deep against Carolina, and then what I would do is play them maybe 2 series in a game against the Jets. Because
I would do that
season. And
I would do that.
You've had 1 practice with pads. Anyone that used to play in college or high school, raise your hand. But actually played, not people that were bench warmers. And there's nothing wrong with being a bench warmer. But I'm just saying, I want anyone who's actually played at a high competitive level or played extensively will understand this. You need to get that first game hit out of the way. You need to have that initial contact, and you can get that in practice back in the day because you went full pads, full contact. But nowadays, if you have to get into a rhythm, it's all about technique. If you cannot fully practice your technique when you're tackling, to understand, you lead with your shoulder, not your head. You get your arms around, you wrap it up, drive your legs, and push them into the ground. If you cannot sit there and do that and do that repetitive and have a repetitive motion of that and build up muscle memory for that, it's going to take you some time. And I don't want the Giants doing that the first 3 weeks into the season.
Sorry, I had my mic muted. My baby was crying.
That's okay. How was the baby?
The baby's doing great.
Good. Both of them.
Yes. Both of them are doing fantastic. But I agree with what you're saying. Like, I think I would like the starters. Like obviously, I don't think Paulie Jones is not going to play. Barkley's definitely not playing.
I would play Jones.
But I wouldn't mind playing Jones, like if for a quarter. But like guys that I would want to see play for like at least a quarter or a half, Evan Neal, Darian Beavers.
Well, not Evan Neal. He's in concussion protocol.
Well, he'll be released.
I would not play Evan Neal in Detroit.
Well, maybe not now, but JMS, I would definitely play for a quarter or 2. I would be playing Josh Azudu, Trey Hawkins, Tay Banks, Pinnock, Belton. I'd let Bobby Okereke play for a quarter. I wouldn't let Dexter Lawrence play or Leonard Williams play. I'd let Nacho play, maybe Jordan Riley, this guy that we just signed or whatever, Jeter or whatever his name is. And if DJ Davidson is off PUP and he can play, then DJ Davidson.
I have to come up with a Nacho sound effects. I think I'm gonna go Nacho man. We'll figure out something.
I wanna be your Nacho man. Nacho man. Oh, let me be your Nacho.
Gentlemen, what brings me to my next point. Don't smoke crack.
Here's the question though, the guard position.
Yep.
You got where do you think we're going that way? I mean, it's still, I am still concerned about this guard position. I know people are saying that Bredesen is, maybe possibly turning the corner.
Turning the corner.
You may go with a rookie. You may go with what's his name, Azuzu Pedals. You may go. Where do you think the Giants are going to go with the guard position?
Well, I think. Right off the bat, I think Josh Azudu has to start. Like you spend a top 100 pick on him, has to start. You have to play him because you got to see what he's got. So I think he should start the left guard spot next to Andrew Thomas. The right guard spot is interesting right now because the reports are, at least the last couple of weeks, that Ben Bredesen has been running with the ones. Mark Lewinsky's been running with the twos.
Yes.
So there is a possibility here that Mark Lewinsky loses his starting job and to Ben Bredesen and becomes the rotational piece. I'm sure that's not what he wants. I'm sure that's not what he came here or wanted to be, but that's what it is. Ben Bredesen has been performing well, and Ben Bredesen hasn't been a world beater, but he's been serviceable. I think he has been serviceable. You look at some of the reps that he's had against Leo, he holds his own. So I think if you want me to give you my starting 5 prediction going into week 1 versus Dallas, I think it's going to be AT at your left tackle, Josh Azudu at your left guard spot. It's going to be JMS at center, Ben Bredesen at right guard, and then Evan Neal, barring any further, setbacks or anything like that, at your right tackle spot. I think that's what it's going to be. That's going to be the starting 5.
I like it. I don't agree with it, but I like it. What do we got? Let's run through. Guilty says 8 wide receivers is too much. Mr. Authentic says, no, we're not going through no damn 3-12-1. Tim, sorry. No, I wasn't saying we're going through a 3-12-1. I said I lived through 3-12-1. So if we lose one game of the season, I'm not going to sit there and be upset. That was like an analogy. Let's see here. Davey says, well, I want the Giants. Joe Judge coach. Great Giant. I love Joe Judge. Is Joe Judge still on the staff in New England? Does anyone know?
He's the assistant head coach.
Oh, he is the assistant head coach?
He's the assistant head coach in New England.
Really?
Yeah, I believe he was promoted to the assistant head coach. Yeah.
Hi, everyone in the chat. Still haven't received my phone yet. Damn BS carrier. It's Christopher Tony. Hey, Chris, you had your phone problem last time, because we know what you need to do, Christopher. If you have phone issues, you need to go to mintmobile.com/Big Blue, because you can get a new phone. You can get unlimited internet for $15 a month for your first 3 months. That's unlimited internet, text messages, everything else for $45. Go to Big Blue. Go to mintmobile.com/Big Blue and sign up now.
Use code DJ for 10% off.
No, you just go to mintmobile.com.
I know, I'm just messing around.
Big Blue. Yeah, and I get money. So I'm a shameless shill now. And go to Aura VPN. if you're looking for internet security. And also go to millions.co. Why would anyone want to sponsor this? I mean, partner this crap. I mean, seriously.
What, you mean us?
Yeah, I mean anything.
I mean, why wouldn't you want to sponsor us?
Why would they want to sponsor this crap? I mean, I love these people at millions.co. See, I love these people. They were great. They reached out to me from the podcast and said, we want you to be on our network. We want you to do this. We want to do this with you. We're going to do all this great stuff. We have Joe Montana. We got all these other athletes, and we're going to have you. And during the call with these people, I stopped them and said, why? And it was funny because they looked at me like, what do you mean, why? I said,
Did they mention me?
No. Fuck. They said that loser with the beard, get rid of him. But they looked, I literally asked them why. So my wife was like, what? So yeah, I said, why the hell would you want this? What the hell's wrong with you? Something's seriously wrong with you. Many thanks, Big Don. Let's see. This Mike Lee said the sleds and the dummies can only do so much. Need some contact. I agree. John says, what's your nickname for DJ fanboys? Of course, we call them the Panty Boys. And I go to the old Living Color song. The Panty Boys, always at the party. The Panty Boys are always on Daniel Jones. I ain't no Panty Boy because I'm fierce. AJ Nick says, Hyatt has been doing much better since not working with DeVito on the third team. How is Tommy DeVito doing? Is he making the roster?
I think he makes the roster.
As what?
Well, I mean, it doesn't count against the 53.
He could be the emergency quarterback. He could be the third string emergency quarterback.
So I think he makes a roster.
Davey says this. What I meant is I watched the great Joe Judge coach. I don't think he.
The great Joe Judge.
I don't think Joe Judge really did any coaching. Don't forget to hit the like. We're only at 37 likes. Make sure you hit the like. That 80 plus people in the room. Hit the like as you come in to the chat. What do you think what do you want to see as the biggest takeaway after this Detroit game?
As far as like the biggest takeaway, I think I want to know a little bit more about one. I want to see the battle with the lines. So I want to see guys like Evan Neal, JMS. I want to see that they're kind of falling into their own, right? Josh Azudu as well. And the defensive line, I want to see how, the defensive line, the edge rushers, I want to see how they're going to be coexisting and working together against some of the opposing teams' offensive lines, offensive unit. And then from a defensive back standpoint, I want to go ahead and I want to see how our corners are going to be holding up. And then the biggest thing is I want to see what we're doing offensively. Obviously, you're not going to probably show a lot, right? But I want to see these guys are going to be coming after you. Now, they can't hit you, right? So we can't hit Goff. We can't hit Daniel Jones in the joint practices, right? But I want to see Daniel going up against other defenses, not by his own people. And I want to see how he processes the field, right? Because these other guys are going to be looking to pick him off, this, that, and the third. And you went up against this defensive unit. You went up against them last year. You went up against the Aiden Hutchinsons, the Josephs, all of these guys. So I want to see how Daniel Jones is going to look against another team's defense, not his own.
Right. I agree.
So that's the biggest thing for me.
I go back to 3 years ago, the Cleveland joint practices. And the Giants had such a good camp going back then. They were having a great camp. And then they did the joint practice with the Browns. And it's kind of like they ran into a buzzsaw. There was nothing good that came out of that practice. Yeah, I mean, Daniel Jones was throwing interceptions. They couldn't run the ball. We couldn't stop anybody. And that carried over into that preseason game. And that's where I came up with, off tackle left, off tackle right, off tackle left, over the top. That's where I came up with that analogy for that season, because that's all teams had to do to beat the Giants. I agree with you. I am more interested to see the joint practices than but get information out of the joint practices than I am in the game, because I think we're going to learn a little bit more
about how the team looks,
about how this team looks against, like, to your point, you can't hit anybody. You can't lay wood on anybody. You can't do any of that. But at least we can get an idea of what we look like against competition that we do not see daily.
Yeah,
because that'll be an indication about how we might win or lose that first game against Dallas, and the whole season could or could not be entirely destroyed. Yeah,
because you got these wide receivers, like Jalen Hyatt, Hodgins, Slayton, like they're going up against Adoree and Trey Hawkins and McLeod and all of these guys on a regular, and Banks. They're going up against them every day, so you pick up on tendencies, right? You pick up on things that you might. So to me, now you're going up against a different slate of defenders, right? How are you going to get off the press? Maybe you're getting played a little bit more physical. Maybe you're going to have to do some things, like maybe Hyatt's not going to be just running like wide open, right? They're going to press you. Right. And what are you going to do? How are you going to react? Offensive line, they are going to be doing stunts. They're going to be doing things that you are not accustomed to seeing Wink Martindale do.
Right.
How are you going to adjust? How are you going to perform?
Well,
that's what it comes down to.
Like I mentioned before, with the padded practice, you saw the difference right away. Because like I said, I had been at a couple practices before that, and then I was at the padded practice. You saw immediately the difference of how this game was played when the defense was literally allowed to not hit the quarterback, but allowed to have full contact rush.
Yeah.
You saw the difference in the gameplay. Now, like I said, I had Daniel Jones 6 for 11 with 3 sacks. And he had a nice swing pass to Saquon Barkley, who basically took it to the house. but which was nice to see Barkley catching the ball in the backfield again. We're going to talk about that in a minute too. But you have to see yourself against different competition. That's why I said I think the camp is going great, but I can't judge anything until I see us against somebody else. To your point,
What I will say though is just based off of what I'm seeing, if this defensive front plays the way that I'm seeing them play, we're going to have a decent front seven. With like, to me, people say he doesn't. To me, Leo looks a little bit leaner. In my opinion, he looks stronger. He looks leaner, in my opinion, than before. I could be wrong on that. I've
seen him in person. I don't think he looks maybe
I think he's going to be, I think he's going to have a high motor this year, contract year. I think he's going to be motivated. I think he's going to have a high motor this year. And I think Azeez, I agree with Carl Banks with what Carl Banks said. Like, Azeez played in 7 games last year, had 5.5 sacks. That's basically a sack a game pace. I think he could very easily, if he plays all 17 games, he could very easily get a sack a game. And, 15 sacks, I think is, if he could stay healthy, is definitely something that's possible. And with Kayvon, I think he might get double-digit sacks. I think, what did he have, 7 last year or something like that, or 6? I think he had 6 or 7. I think Kayvon can get up to double-digit sacks, maybe 10 or 11 and whatnot. I'm seeing a couple of different things in his arsenal where he's going one way and then he's cutting and he's swimming and he's trying to get an inside where he didn't really do that last year. So it's not just a one move and go. He's trying to incorporate other stuff. I think we're going to have a good front seven. If everybody can stay healthy, I think we actually are going to have a good front seven. And that's going to aid some of these younger defensive backs, guys like Trey Hawkins, Banks, stuff like that. If they're getting some burn, it's going to aid them. Because that's really why, like, even when we won the Super Bowl, like Corey Webster, like, he wasn't like a bad corner, but he wasn't top notch. Right, Terrell Thomas, Aaron Ross, like, they weren't top notch. They weren't bad.
Was he an all-pro corner? No, but he was. A lot of people. I loved Corey Webster. I thought he was a great Giant.
I did.
Was he? Was he on that top echelon? No, but he was more than an adequate, if not better than that, starting corner for the Giants.
Oh, for sure. But I don't think it would be. I don't think it's wrong to say
you could win with Corey Webster. You could win a Super Bowl with Corey Webster.
Yeah, I don't think it's wrong to say in 11 and 07. I think our pass rush aided our corners and helped them out and helped them look a lot better than maybe what they were. Because if we were not able to get the type of pass rush that we were able to get in 07 and in 2011, I think we would have been getting dog walked through the passing game.
Oh, definitely.
So,
I mean, I definitely agree with that. I mean, I think that do you think though, and I know it's a big if, is Azeez Ojulari, is he able to play at least 14 games this year?
I think so. I think, look, everybody's giving the kid a lot of shit for last year and him missing games. Like, he never missed games in college. I think the last time he missed games was in high school.
He missed games in rookie season too.
No, he didn't. He played his entire rookie year. He didn't miss any. He didn't miss any games.
2 games. I'm sorry, I could be wrong about that.
But I think everybody's like focusing on this last year, and he needs to stay healthy. Like, in college, he wasn't hurt. I think the last time he missed time was like in high school, like where he missed time due to injury. For the most part, he's been healthy. So I think, he said, like, in his interview that he did, he's been doing a lot more things with like yoga and stretching, and things like that to make sure that his body's right and his muscles are good to go. So I definitely think that you can see him. He's going to play long enough to the point where if we're making a playoff run or we're in the playoffs, they're resting him at the end of the year, getting ready for the postseason. I think he can play 14 or 15 games, 100%.
If he plays the 14 or 15 games?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? What's the sack total?
15. I think he's good for a sack a game.
You think he's good for a sack? What
I do.
I'm just curious. I'm not saying no, but I'm curious. What are you gauging that off of?
I think he's that good. I'm gauging it off of the fact of, last year, his rookie year, he had 8 sacks, and I think he played in like 12 games. Because I don't think he started right away because we were starting. I think that was the year we had Marcus Golden and somebody else. I can't remember. So he didn't start, but he got playing time, and then he ended up starting in the back end of the season. He started like the back end of the year, and he had 8 sacks. And then last year he played in 7 games, had 5.5 sacks. He was on pace to have double-digit sacks last year had he was able to stay healthy. So and when you look at how he plays the game, just look at the Minnesota Vikings game. Like Kirk Cousins was like, he had a good game, but for the most part, like we were getting to Kirk Cousins, maybe not always getting a sack, but we were getting to Kirk Cousins. Even looking against the Eagles, the only guy that I think on our team that had a sack against the Eagles was Azeez Ojulari. And so when you took Azeez out of the game, that changed the whole landscape of our pass rush, I think, a little bit. I mean, you're still getting your pressure up the middle from Dexter Lawrence, but Dexter can only do so much. So I think if he stays healthy, I 100% think Azeez is good for a sack a game. I think he's got the skill set. I think he's got the athletic ability to do it. 15 sacks on the season, I think, for Azeez Ojulari, sack a game.
Now the question is this, and I want to talk about Kayvon Thibodeau for a second because we're talking about Azeez Ojulari. What if Azeez is getting 15?
Mm-hmm.
What is your predictions for Kayvon Thibodeau?
10 to 12.
So you are predicting. We'll say it on the low end. You are predicting 25 sacks out of these guys, out of these 2 guys.
I am.
Well, that just blew my mind. My question is this with JMS.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to get to the chat in a minute. JMS, and I also before I get into that, the reason why I brought this up is because of the fact that if you watched the padded practice, Evan Neal had some issues controlling and containing Azeez Ojulari. He actually did, if you watch it, he actually did a better job of containing and working against Kayvon Thibodeau. And I
think Kayvon's slower.
And that's kind of what I'm going on. Is that he is a little bit slower. And that's why I'm kind of curious to figure out, do you think that he is going to be able to get those 10 sacks if you have someone that is more of a speed rusher going out there and is going to take away some of those sacks if it takes him a little bit longer to get to the quarterback?
I think that Kayvon is going to be a benefit of Azeez coming off the edge, Dexter collapsing the pocket from the interior. And I think a lot of the sacks that Kayvon is probably going to get is probably going to be where the quarterback's like, quarterback just falls into his lap because he's just going to be in the right place at the right time, in my opinion. So I think when you're talking about, Evan Neal, I mean, Azeez, I want to see Azeez and Evan Neal go up against each other because you have a lot of athletic pass rushers that you're going up against. Like, to me, a guy like Kayvon, I think if he's having success against a guy like Kayvon, he may do well against a guy like Nick Bosa, because Nick Bosa and Kayvon, I think, as far as speed-wise, are about the same. They're more power guys.
Okay.
So maybe he'll have a little bit of better luck there. But when you're going up against guys like Von Miller and you're going up against Micah Parsons and you're going to have Nolan Smith and you get a lot of these, other guys, a lot of these speed guys that you're going to have, I think that I want to see him get more reps against Azeez Ojulari to get that speed down. I think in those reps against Azeez, he did struggle as far as to the block, but his footwork was better, and I think he was better with his hands. So he just got to get a little bit more confident.
Okay.
With that. So
let me. We're going to talk about that. Let me just run through. We got a bunch of chats. I just wanted to get through. I want to get through that. John said you should debate Christie and Attain. Okay. Let's see here. Mike Lee says
we have to have a vertical
passing game because you need the vertical. Let's see here. How dare you question Joe Judge? I lost that sound effect. I lost how question Joe Judge. Let's see here. We also have, seems like Holmes will be a cut candidate. Darnay Holmes, do you think he's a cut candidate?
Yes.
I think it's a little too early right now to make that assessment. but do you think he's a cut candidate? You think he's a cut
I
candidate?
do.
Okay. We got Nightwave Radio saying DJ has looked great. Authentic said 6 for 11. That's ain't what I heard. Well, what's the woman that does this thing for the Sporting News? That's always the giant reporter. What's her name?
Kim Jones?
No. The one that does the podcast and stuff.
Josina Anderson?
No. It starts with a P. Patricia.
Oh, Patricia Traina.
Yeah. Mr. Authentic. She also says 6 for 11 and 3 sacks. So I'm not making shit up. That's what happens when you stand there and watch from the sidelines. Let's see here. Who is the next guy on the Giants defense that is going to be the leader of the defense? Who's going to be the leader of this defense?
Kayvon
Thibodeau? I'm actually going to still stick with
King of the almost sack.
I'm still sticking with Leonard Williams. Like I said, I'm not a big Leonard Williams fan, but I still think
I think it's either going to be Kayvon or it's going to be Bobby.
All right. Nightwave Radio says 15 sacks would be a top 5 leader. Yeah, it would be a top 2. the way the sack total. That's why I mentioned to see that Davey says if we get 25 sacks from Aziz and Kayvon, we are winning the Super Bowl. That is a dominant defense. That's actually what I thought. John says the same thing. That is a lot. Chris D says, let's just hope Aziz stays healthy most of the season. Now, I wanted to put something up real quick here. And this is and I hope this is not a precursor or anything here, but the field the Giant Stadium still bothers me. And we look here. This is the sideline. I mean, this is the middle of the Giants field. They still have these seams.
This is the 50-yard line.
This is the new field. Yeah. This is the new field. I'm still seeing seams. And anyone that plays football or played football understands that seams in a field is bad. And this is the brand new turf.
Is it because it hasn't been like played on or practiced on yet?
I don't know. I would think that you wouldn't see seams either way. That's why I'm just curious about. I just wanted to bring that up. Just wanted to post that a second because I keep seeing seams in the field. Every time I get a chance to go on the field, I keep seeing seams. And seams are bad. Let's see here. Let's see what Egrass says. Kayvon's first step is slower. That's what's slow.
Can I ask a quickie question?
Sure.
For anybody that says the 25 is a lot, which it is, right? How did everybody feel about the Vikings defense last year? It was pretty bad, right?
It was very bad.
Zadarius Smith and Daniil Hunter are acquitted for 20 sacks between the two of them. Daniil Hunter had 10.5. Zadarius Smith had 10.
Really?
Just saying.
So, but we got to take a look at the secondary, though.
Yeah, but I don't care about the secondary. I'm just talking about the sacks. People are saying that 25 sacks is a lot. Yes, but people think that the Minnesota Vikings were terrible and their defense was all-time historically bad, and they had 20 sacks just between two players.
Okay. So you're saying you could have 20 sacks and still be terrible.
I'm saying that 20 to 25 sacks, it's not as much as people actually think.
Right.
Like somebody in the chat said 25. He's probably like being facetious, but 25 sacks, we're winning the Super Bowl. No, but I mean, you could have 25 sacks like between two players. Like that's not unheard of. Even prior to our Super Bowl, it's Strahan and Osio Manura were quitting for close to that.
It's definitely not unheard of, but I think to the point that would be a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, look at back in the day, Strahan and Osio Manura, they were quitting for that amount just between the two of them.
Yeah. Okay.
But we didn't win Super Bowls until 2007.
That's true. That is a Rob actually made an excellent point today. Rob's on fire today.
And I think Dexter Lawrence, might be right around maybe where he was last year, or maybe like one more. I don't know what he had like. What did he have, like 7.5? So I give Dexter like maybe 8.5 next
Something
year.
Like I thought they said, what day were you at camp when he went 6 for 11 with 3 sacks? That would be August 1st. And I don't want to do this to Mr. Authentic, but that would be an unbiased person. Or a person that would be a Daniel Jones person. Mm-hmm. So Sorry. Sorry. I don't make shit up. I just, this is the thing, and I love Mr. Authentic, but I see what I see in front of me. I know. I told you I would be done at 12 o'clock. You guys were going to the thing. I see what I see. And at the end of the day, that's what I see.
I mean, Sexy Dexy is definitely like the leader, right? I think Sexy Dexy is the leader on the defense, but I think he's the leader on the defensive line. I don't think he's the leader on the defense. Like we had Chris Canty back in the day and whatnot, and he was a leader on the defensive line, but he was not a leader of the defense.
Right.
So, and I'm not trying to knock on Sexy Dexy. I love Sexy Dexy. So I definitely think he's going to be a leader on the D line, but for that overall defense, I think it's going to be Bobby or Kayvon is going to be the leader of that defense, where people are like, when you're looking for somebody to come up big, it's going to be one of those. I think it's going to be those types of guys. He's going to be like Strahan or, Antonio Pierce or Justin Tuck. That's what they're going to be looking like. Those types of impactful players.
Oh, so yeah, okay, I said that right. Hold on. Hold on.
Take your time.
Hold on. I'm trying to type. Let's see here. Let's see. Moet, let's see. Is Tim, I know you've been at camp in your eyes. Max is my son is stalling. I know you've been at camp in your eyes. What's your who are your standouts? I've seen clips, but not in real action. Daniel Jones is a standout. Daniel Jones is having a great camp. Kayvon Thibodeau, not Kayvon Thibodeau. I'm sorry. Jalen Hyatt is a standout. Mr. Hawkins the third, love her. Is definitely a standout. I mean, I think what's not getting he's not getting as much play that I think he should. Who's had some good plays is Eric Gray. Baby Quad.
Yeah, I don't really see a lot of highlights of him. Barkley's back too, but
Baby Quads is doing stuff that doesn't show.
Don't even fucking look. Spiro from fucking New York Revival, and I love him. But when the whole fucking holdout was going on, he posted a fucking picture of Eric Gray, and he was like, "Oh man, it's Gray Quads," and I was like, "Get the fuck out of here with that shit, bro! That's disrespectful." Listen, I'm wearing this jersey for a reason, y'all. Okay, it's 2-6 all day, baby. It's 2-6 all day.
All I'm saying, he's doing the little things in camp that you need to do for the third string running back.
100%, but it's about the 2-6. It's all about the Quan, baby. The Saquon, baby.
All about the Quan. Did you track stats or go off channel? I tracked my stats, Mr. Authentic. That was kind of not nice. I track my shit. He's got you guys remember like when you go like back in the day, you used to go to the corner stores and play the lotto and then have the little short pencils with no eraser on it. That's what he's got, Authentic, on the side. Okay. First of all, shut up for a second, because that's actually true.
Yo, he's got the little pencil,
the golf pencil, and
third and 10.
We went.
Right, got it.
Wait a minute. We went to Angry Birds Miniature Golf in the Mall of America.
Oh, and they have them. That's right. They use them at the mini golf.
And that's all I had. So it's this little, like this big. It's a little red pencil, dude. And that's all I had.
That's fucking great.
So, it was pretty funny though. As I'm sitting there trying to write with my mitts, and I got this little thing. Because I tried to take notes for the show, and I was trying to write stuff down. Funny. And I remember I got home at one point, and I was looking at it, going, "What the hell did I write here?" It's like I can't even see what I wrote. What's up, Big Greg? What's going on, too? What's going on? Greg says, Big Tim, what's food, my guys? Well, nothing food. It was good food. No, what's good, my guys? Of course, my brother. Happy birthday, Greg. It's Greg's birthday.
Happy birthday, sir.
Happy birthday to Greg in Sweden.
Happy birthday
to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Greg. Happy birthday to you.
And many more. Went to practice yesterday for the first time. What a fun experience.
I've never been.
You never been to practice? I went to practice in the old days. Like I said, we used to talk about when they had it up in Albany and all that, because there was this.
I'd love to, dude. I want to go so bad, man.
They had this. You could go. There was no getting a ticket back in the old days. You could just go there. And in Albany, they had this little green fence that was like 3.5 feet high that ran the entire practice field. And you stood at the end of the fence when the players came out. And I always tell the story. I talked to LeVar Arrington, former Redskin, who came over to the Giants.
Bro, he had such a bad rap from Giants fans because when he came here, he was awful.
No one remembers his play in Dallas, but he got hurt and everything. But I talked to him for like a half hour that day. It was great. It was a Sunday evening. It was like 7:00, and I thought we were just bullshitting. It was weird because I thought he was going to want to leave, so I didn't want to keep carrying the conversation. Like, well, maybe he wants to leave. Maybe he wants to go do something. Maybe why the hell is he talking to me?
Yeah.
But he was great. I remember going back in the day talking to Jim Burt, the big nose tackle number 64. And he used to own he might still own it. He used to own a 7-Eleven near Old Giant Stadium. And it was great because as a kid, my dad used to do a lot of work around the stadium, do some other things in New York. So we used to always stop at that 7-Eleven just so I could potentially meet Jim Burt. Which I got to do, which was actually nice. He was there once.
Question: are these joint practices in New York or are they in Detroit?
They're in Detroit. They're playing.
Are they indoors or out? Is it indoors or outdoors?
I believe it's going to be outdoors. I know Detroit does have an indoor facility like the Giants do, but I believe it's going to be outdoors.
Okay.
Good questions. Actually, he goes, I had the graphic ready and set up with slow suspect. No. When I let Rob vamp for 15 minutes is because I went on
vamp or vent.
A vamp. When I let Rob talk for 15 minutes straight without me saying anything is because of the fact that I was on Twitter looking for it. Because someone sent it to me. I couldn't find it. The replies. Because I posted on Twitter that he had 3 sacks and people were calling me saying, no, that's not right. That's not right. And then someone sent it to me on Twitter and I couldn't figure out where it was in the reply section. So literally I was scrolling for 15 minutes. I'll tell you this, guys, I'm honest to a fault. I'm honest to a fault. I'll tell you what. You may not like it, you may not like me, but anyone that knows me will tell you that's just me. I'm honest. I will.
Dude, I really like this all black hat, dude, that you got. I really like. I like black hats.
I like black hats too because everyone says I'm the bad guy. So and like I said, but the blue one's pretty awesome. I mean, I like the blue one too. I mean, same thing. I kind of wish that it didn't have like the Giants faded in on them. Where's the other hat? Hold on. I got another hat all over here. You know what the problem is? Luckily, I do this with my feet. I got hats everywhere. I got jerseys everywhere. Hold on. Because you also have, you got that one, which they also sell. And like I said, I kind of like it because it gives it a little bit difference. It gives a little, little panache. I think it gives a little panache. We're gonna be wrapping up here in a couple minutes, guys. Someone DM'd me a second ago on Twitter. Said, "What don't you have in your office?" I got a Penn State.
Let's talk about a little mini helmet. Let's talk about Barkley.
I have the anniversary helmet for the Philadelphia Soul.
Ooh,
I worked there. When I worked there, I got this. You only got this if you worked there. This was their anniversary helmet. So this was a nice little gift. Someone tried to. I have one that's signed by Ron Jaworski too. Everyone always wants to buy this helmet. Now, what's the last thing I have? Hold on. Let's see. Then we also have this is a Tank Daniels jersey, signed. He played in 2007. Not people know when he had the fumble recovery. Oh, and I also have the game worn Rodney Hampton jersey. And then I have this game sign worn Rodney. I got a lot of shit on the floor. I got to put I expanded the walls in my office so I could like hang like stuff. And I never did it.
I've got a little bit of stuff. I just got this sent to me just a couple of days ago.
Oh, that's nice.
Autographed.
I like that.
By Saquon Barkley from a buddy of mine. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then they built like a new 7-Eleven by one of my buddy's houses, and he went and David Deal was there.
Oh, David Deal.
And so he got it signed for me. So, and I have that framed. And then a buddy of mine got me a mini helmet autographed by Michael Strahan.
Mine's autographed by Carl Banks.
So
that's another one I got to put away. And I got the full-size Phil Simms helmet behind me. Oh, you know what you don't have?
What's that?
Tapatia.
Did they ever make a Chad Powers bobblehead?
I don't know, but I know what they also made.
1, 2, 3, go.
There you go. Supermarket with me. You gotta have the Johnny Bravo.
Of course, gotta have the Johnny Bravo. I want to talk about Saquon for a couple of minutes before we get to the wrap up.
Minutes because I got to go to the range.
How were like at the time that you were there? Like, I've been having like this big like riff with people saying like Saquon Barkley, he can't run routes, he can't do this, he can't do that, and I feel like they use Christian McCaffrey as like the bar. And Alvin Kamara, both of which those players played wide receiver and moved to the running back position. So I put those guys in a category of their own. But I watched like some of these highlights, like the pass that he had on Bobby Okereke, which is one of our better coverage linebackers, put a move on him. Tommy DeVito underthrew the ball, full stride, leaned back, caught it one-handed. He had another one the very next day on Darian Beavers where he put a move on Darian Beavers and got open. And when you go back to his interview, again, it's kind of confirming, he said they were using him a lot like a Christian McCaffrey, putting him out, throwing the football to him. And then when the season started, they didn't use him that way. Maybe because they couldn't, maybe because they had to, maybe the offense wasn't looking or running the way that they wanted to. And so I look at it like from a running back position, just like pure running back. Because again, I put Alvin and I put CMC in their own category. I think you could make an argument that he's a top 5 dual threat running back and he's good in the passing game. He just has to be used that way. And running backs don't really have a huge route tree like that. They're not running 15-yard fucking skinny posts or corner routes, like out routes, shoot routes, swing routes. Like
in 5 years, Saquon Barkley, 7 receptions, 1,820 yards, 8 touchdowns. That's in 5 years. Year 1 with Eli Manning, 91 receptions, 721 yards, targeted 121 times. His targets dropped in 2019 because of the injuries. He was only targeted 73 times, 52 receptions, 438 yards. You can't talk about 2020 because of what happened. 2021, the injury year coming back, he only was targeted 47 times. He has 41 receptions, 71% catch ratio. Last year, he was targeted 76 times for 57 receptions. Still catch ratio over 75. I think the Giants, I think in 2022 decided to be run centric. And I think they focused on more of and we've seen it with the play action rollout. And then having Daniel Jones to have one option, the second option is to run. So a lot of times when you cut half the field, it doesn't matter what's going on in the second half of the field. And I think that's what limited Saquon Barkley's receptions, but he still caught 57. He still caught 57 passes last year.
Yeah, he was tied for first on the team.
It's not like he had 23.
Yeah.
I think the problem is he didn't break any of them. So he only had 5.9 yards of reception.
And that's and to me, that's because you got 8 guys in the box, 9 guys in the box looking to try to stop him. If you've got now Paris Campbell, Jalen Hyatt, and Darius Slayton, you got 3 guys now that could stretch the field. Waller that can, take the top off of a defense now. I think you can see him have a bigger impact in the passing game where he can get open because maybe he's not going up against those 8 or 9 man boxes. I mean, Jalen Hyatt talked about it in his little interview, after practice. Like, we want to make Saquon's job easier. We want to take those 8 man boxes out. So it's just, your 7 man boxes. And if Saquon Barkley is seeing 7-man boxes, good luck, because he's going to destroy it. I mean, he's been looking at 8-man boxes since he got here. Since he got here, he was looking at 8-man boxes. Look at the game, his first game against Jacksonville. They were stacking the box. It took him the whole game just to break that 70-yard run.
Everyone talks about how Daniel Jones has had no offensive line in the last 4 years, but no one talks about the fact that Saquon Barkley had zero offensive line in the last 5 years.
Yep. And he still produced, barring his injuries, right?
Still has productions.
Still has production.
I'm going to run through a couple of these because I do have to get out of here. I'm going to go shoot some guns. I'm going to go do some
on the range.
I'm going to do some manly stuff. I'm very excited because I have Rock Island makes a very large semi-automatic shotgun, and I've yet to get to shoot that, and the range is actually going to allow me to do it. So, it's good to know people when you want to do stupid things. Davey says, Tim, do you have an autographed LT? Do you have a LT autograph in your office? I don't have a single one. I have behind me, behind the green screen, a autograph of LT, Bradley Van Pelt, and Brian Kelly, the part of the Crunch Bunch, and Lawrence Taylor. So I have all 4 autographs on that. That's the only LT one I have. I think about it. Mr. Moet says, can you guys see Hyatt getting a substantial role week 1, or does he get eased into throughout the season due to the play? But I don't think so. I think they put him in for at least 20 plays, 25 plays.
Well, I mean, that's kind of getting eased into it.
If you run 45 plays, 50 plays, and you're in for half. Let's say you run 50 plays and he's in for 25. That's half the plays. That's not really easing into it. I think
I could see week 1, 15 to 20.
I think this with Jalen Hyatt, he's a threat. And we talked about the fact when a couple of years back when Odell got hurt, and he got hurt. I forget which game it is. He got hurt in the game, and he actually came back in the game, and everyone knew he was hurt. Everyone knew he couldn't do it.
It was the Ravens game where he hurt his ankle.
Yes, he still came
or
back.
a hamstring or something.
I just remember he came back into the game and was a threat. You still had to cover him because you didn't know if he was pulling the old, my hammy, and then all of a sudden you go run a 4-3. No, nobody knew exactly what was going on. And I think the threat of Jalen Hyatt, because of if he has a great, let's say he has a great preseason. Let's say he tears it up. If he has a great preseason, people they could use him as a threat. The threat may not be a reality, but you do not know what the reality is going to be until you're on the field.
I would say this. I think come week 4, which is going to be our home game against Seattle, I think Jalen Hyatt's going to be a legitimate weapon in this offense by week 4.
I think so too. Last couple ones here. I went to training camp in Albany, afternoon session. Kurt Warner, of course, that was in 2020. That was in 2004. Strahan, Toomer signed autographs, took pictures of everyone who wanted him. Shockey ran past everyone. You know what's funny? Shockey gets a lot of crap in training camp about that. But I had been there where he actually signed autographs for an extended period of time, Jeremy. But he was also one of those guys that, he did run off the field, after because back
he's
in
a ghost now.
It's not like now where the Giants have you have to sign up and you have to be under 13 and you have to sign up for the autograph session for the players when you go to camp. You have to literally go sign your kid up and then go to the autograph session afterwards. And yes, some of the players do come over the fence, but like I said, back in the day, man, they just walked right past you. You could literally walk with them back to the training facility in Albany. It was great. I mean, like I said, it was one of those experiences as a kid. And I remember going back, at one point they were in Pace University. They were all different places. I remember going back as a kid, and I can't remember the Giant, and I was probably like 9 or 10, but it was the greatest thrill, and I can't remember who it was. This day, my dad, God rest his soul, who was passed away, would have told me who it was right away. I got to carry his helmet, back to the facility, and that was the greatest thing ever. You're walking with a player, you're holding the helmet. It's just, but you don't have those. I don't think you have those experiences anymore because they kind of made it into an event.
Yeah.
And it's great that more people can go, but it's just the fact that, more people can go, but then also I think you lose that closeness, in the facility. So, Rob, I got to head out of here. What's the Rob final thought of the day?
Rob, final thought is, we've got 47 likes on here. You better step it up, people. We need definitely more than that. I want to see us break 60. I want to see us break 60 likes. Big week this week.
We'll be over 100 with the rebroadcast.
Oh, indeed. But big week this week, with the joint practices, and football is back, ladies and gentlemen. Football is back.
And that's all that matters.
And I would like you guys, whoever is watching, we got 66 people in here. Tweet at Tim and tweet at me. Let us know if you guys are going to be watching the game and where you guys are going to be watching the game from. I believe our game is on Thursday. It's a 7 p.m. game. Let us know where you're going to be watching the game and who you are looking to watch most of all on Thursday night at 7 p.m. Football is back. Are you ready for some football?
What I'd like to just throw out there is also the fact that we still have, we're still going to be giving away, I think, we have two left, tickets to the Giants Panthers preseason game. And these are Coaches Club tickets. So
wish it was in Carolina.
What's that?
I said, I wish it was in Carolina.
If it was in Carolina, you would be going.
100%.
But we will be there. I think we have 2 tickets left. You get to go to the Coaches Club, which means you get to stand on the sidelines during the game. Means you will get to go out on the field after the game. It means you'll also get to sit there and see all the little fun stuff that goes behind the scenes. All the food is free. You get to see the players coming in and out of the tunnel. You get autographs. It's a fun experience. And last year we took 3 people, and it was great because we, of course, had Dom fly all the way in for the UK to go. We had LJ who got to go. And LJ, it was not only his first NFL game, it was his first Giant game ever. So what an experience to have, standing on the sidelines for your first Giant game ever. And then we had the Big El Gigante who also went, so like I said, it was a great experience. And we are probably going to do 3 of these games during the season, like we did last year as well, where I take one person, and again, you go into the Coaches Club and you go out onto the field and do all that fun stuff. So we're going to do that as well this year. I think I just haven't decided on those dates. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And if you are interested in one of these last tickets, you can just email me at tim@onlineBigBlue.com. That's tim@onlineBigBlue.com. And to Rob's point, we're at 51 likes, but we'll get over 100 on the rebroadcast because we always do. And I'm always excited about that. And I appreciate everyone that's dropping in. And Mr. Authentic, no, your trolling did not break my brain. Sorry.
And for anybody that goes to the games,
my brain was broken a long time ago.
For anybody that goes to the games with Tim, at some point, your heart is going to want to say, hey, man, thanks, Tim, for bringing me here. Before you say that, what you need to say is, fuck you, Tim, for fucking bringing me here. That's what you need to say. Fuck you, and fuck these tickets, and fuck this experience. Don't you dare say thank you, because you'll never go again.
Okay, I'm just going to say one quick thing. I did something nice for Rob. He tried to say something nice, and I told him to fuck off. Okay, and I told him I don't take praise. I don't take praise well.
Oh, I love it.
And Big L will tell you something as well. Big L, I crack up because Big El Gigante, I hit him anytime he tries to say something nice to me at the game. I mean, I literally physically hit him. And I laugh because at one point in time, he's sitting there at the game and he said somebody's going like this. I'm like, no. Just like, I don't take, no niceties.
Don't you dare.
No niceties, please. James H says, can you win? You don't win the tickets. If you want to go and you're in the tri-state area and you have your own transportation, you're over 21, just email me and tell me why you want to go. And just email me at tim@onlineBigBlue.com. I only ask that because I have some people that email me and it's like, some of the people's rationale and reasoning is not probably.
Are you going to the Detroit one?
No, the Detroit one's in Detroit.
Oh, that's right. You guys don't get away ones. That's right.
Yeah, we don't get away ones. So just tell me why you want to go. We had also Chris for the Love of MMA hang out with us. We had Swing Culture TV hang out with us also at the draft party event. So we take people to that as well. I just want to know why you want to go, what's your rationale and your reasoning, because I want to make sure you're a Giant fan. I want to make sure you're going to hang out and have a good time. And like I said, we always go as a group. So you know what, Rob? We're going to close this show out. This is Tim. This is Rob. This is New York Giants Straight Talk. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out because we only got 51 likes. Get up to that 61 for Rob. And you know what? We will see you next week because we are out of here. To the market with me.